Hi everyone, I'm super excited for today's video because we're making 3 different healthy jam recipes from scratch. The first one is a strawberry jelly, the second one is a blueberry and blackberry jam, and the last one is a vanilla peach preserve. All 3 of them will have different texture because I'll be using different thickeners and different healthy sweeteners. So don't skip around in this video and watch all 3 because you might just find your new favorite jam recipe. Okay, the first recipe is strawberry jam. This is going to be more of a jelly with a smoother consistency. Start by placing 4 cups of roughly chopped organic strawberries into a pot. I highly encourage you to choose organic whenever possible. Strawberries in particular are on the list of dirty dozen foods and have a lot of pesticide residue on them. And don't shy away from frozen fruit. Sometimes it's even better than buying fresh, especially when berries are not in season. Okay, into the same pot, add in 1 teaspoon of lemon zest, 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice, and 1/2 a cup of coconut sugar. Bring everything to boil, lower the temperature and cover with the lid. Let it cook for about 5 minutes. In the meantime, let's prepare our gelatin mixture. In a small bowl, mix together 1/4 of a cup of cold water and 4 teaspoons of grass-fed gelatin powder. Mix everything well until gelatin is dissolved and there are no visible clumps. Let it set for about 3 minutes to gel up. As always guys, I'll be listing all the ingredients I used and full recipes in the description box below. The berries have been cooking for about 5 minutes and they look about ready. Aside from the gelatin, lemon juice and zest will help to solidify the jam. Because strawberries are naturally not very high in pectin, adding citrus really helps with the gelling effect. At this point, add in the gelatin mixture and mix really well. Let it cool down slightly before transferring into high-speed blender. Now process on high for about a minute, strain the berries through a mesh strainer to catch any of the seeds. Now all you're left with is this beautiful smooth jelly that's ready to be transferred into a clean jar. In addition to giving my jars a really good wash, I always place them into boiling water for at least a few minutes to make sure that they're squeaky clean and that there's no bacteria that can potentially end up in my jelly. In order for this jam to set properly and gel, it needs to be refrigerated for at least 8 hours, but preferably 24 hours. As far as the freshness of these jams, you can store all 3 of these in the fridge for up to 10 days, or you can divide them into smaller jars and freeze. You just have to make sure to leave about 1 inch or so from the top, so the expansion doesn't break the jar. Okay, moving on to recipe number 2, and this one is a blueberry and blackberry jam. Unlike the first recipe, this one is more of a traditional jam texture. It's rich, thick, chunky, and so incredibly delicious. Okay, let's get started. Into a saucepan, add 2 cups of organic blackberries and 2 cups of organic blueberries. Add in 1/4 of a cup of lemon juice, 1 teaspoon of lemon zest, and 1/2 a cup of lakanto sweetener. Now this is a 0-calorie natural monk fruit sweetener that tastes just like sugar and has a very similar texture as well. Mix everything together until the sweetener melts completely. Now bring the mixture to a boil. Lower the temperature, cover with a lid, and let it cook for about 5 minutes. Now that the berries are ready, set it aside and let it cool down a bit. Now we're ready for the last step, adding our thickener, and in this recipe I'm choosing black chia seeds. Because this jam is already dark and chunky, chia seeds are a great choice as it adds a texture and richness to the color. Add about 3 tablespoons into your berry jam, mix together well so everything is evenly incorporated, and transfer into a jar. Chia seeds are going to swell up, gel, and solidify this blackberry jam after just a few hours. That being said, don't fill up your jars all the way to the brim and leave a little bit of space for your jam to expand. Okay, moving on to our final recipe, and this one is maple vanilla peach preserve. Before I do anything else, I'm going to work on my pectin mixture. For this recipe, I'm going to use citrus pectin powder, and its gelling power is activated by calcium. and not by sugar like some of the other powders. I'm going to mix half a cup of water with half a teaspoon of white calcium powder in a glass jar. Shake the mixture really well and set it aside. By the way, this calcium water lasts for a few months in the fridge, so you can use it anytime you want to whip up a new jar of jam. In a separate bowl, combine half a cup of maple syrup and 3 teaspoons of pectin powder. Mix thoroughly and set aside. I'm using grade A maple syrup, which is lighter in color and has more of a neutral flavor, so we don't overpower the peaches. Measure about 4 cups of roughly chopped peaches and add into a saucepan. I've already taken out the pits and took the skins off. Slice the vanilla bean in half lengthwise and scrape out the inside. I'm actually going to be adding vanilla seeds and the bean pod to the food as well. Add in 1/4 cup of lemon juice and 4 teaspoons of calcium water that we prepared earlier. Now let's go ahead and bring peaches to full boil. Add in pectin, maple syrup mixture and stir everything together really well. Keep stirring for a few more minutes until pectin is dissolved. Once the fruit comes back to boil, set aside and let it cool down. You can now remove the vanilla pod and transfer your jam into a jar and move to the refrigerator. As with other recipes, make sure you leave a bit of space on top for expansion. Okay guys, it's been 24 hours since we made the jams and they're perfectly solidified and ready to use. If you guys like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel for more content just like this. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.